The former Downing Street Director of Communications launched an attack on the leading Brexiteer and claimed if the UK holds a second referendum, there will be a very different answer, he declared. I think actually Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson and all these guys are getting a little bit desperate and trying to take the ball into the corner flag and just get that final whistle blown, because I think they understand that as people to see the detail, to realize the cost and the chaos, then not only should they have the right to think again, but I think they'll want to think again, and I think there will be a very different answer. The claims from Mr. Campbell come after Nigel Farage insisted another referendum will put to bed the ridiculous anti-Brexit arguments from Remainers. Speaking on Channel 5's Right Stuff, the former UKIP leader explained, "My mind is actually changing on this. What is for certain is the Cleggs, Blairs and Adonises will never ever give up. They will go on whinging, whining and moaning about the whole process, so maybe, just maybe, I'm reaching the point of thinking that we should have a second referendum on EU membership." The Brexiteer said a second vote would kill off the issue for a generation and send Tony Blair to total obscurity. BBC Getty. Alastair Campbell launched an attack on the leading Brexiteer during BBC Newsnight went on, "I think if we had a second referendum on EU membership we'd kill it off for a generation. The percentage that would vote to leave next time would be very much bigger than it was last time around. We may just finish the whole thing off and Blair can disappear off into total obscurity." Mon. April 3, 2017. Meanwhile, Deborah Mattinson from Britain Thinks, a research institute, claimed that since the 2016 referendum, people's fundamental views haven't changed at all. She explained, "So we've been tracking this at Britain Thinks over the last 18 months, and the really fascinating thing is that people's fundamental views haven't changed at all in that time. So really nothing has changed, other than people are more worried. But I think the one thing you have to factor in when you think about this is the youth vote, and of course what we know is many more people voted in the last election, people who didn't vote in the referendum. If they still vote, then that could change things." The BBC's political editor, Nicola Watt, stated that think tank YouGov has claimed that the British public marginally regrets the decision to rid itself from the clutches of Brussels. He said, "The YouGov monthly tracker on the question asks is it right or is it wrong to have left the European Union, and that shows basically even Stevens. Though since August it was wrong to leave. The EU has been ahead, although there was a blip last month which showed that the Leave side were 9 points ahead, although it is important to say that was after a different context, so there are questions about the particular finding." However, at the end of last year, the market research company explained that Leave voters showed little signs that their decision would leave the UK worse off on any issue. Channel 5 Right Stuff. Nigel Farage insisted another referendum will put to bed the ridiculous anti-Brexit arguments the company wrote in October 2016. YouGov asked both Remain and Leave voters what impact they thought Brexit would have on a variety of things, such as the economy, food prices, the personal finances, etc. The research revealed that, in contrast to Remainers, only a small minority of Leave voters believed that Brexit would have a negative impact on any issue. Now, 1 year on, YouGov finds that the proportion of Leave voters with negative expectations of Brexit is almost completely unchanged. BBC Alastair Campbell blasted Nigel Farage for being desperate on the latest edition of BBC Newsnight, and 11 of the potential areas of impact we asked about negative opinion among Leave voters has shifted so little that in all but one instance any changes are all within the margin of error. The only issue that has seen an increase in negative sentiment among Leavers is the likelihood of the price of the weekly shopping going up, which has risen from 25% to 30% over the past year. This is still, however, far behind the 52% who think the cost of the shopping will remain much the same.